Gil Martin here, and welcome everybody to today's episode of the Daily Packers Post, where we bring you in-depth videos on your Green Bay Packers. We have new episodes dropping every day, Monday through Friday, so hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Today, we're going to take a look at 5 things the Packers can do to mitigate the loss of Micah Parsons. Obviously, losing edge rusher Micah Parsons to a torn ACL is a big blow for the Green Bay Packers. Their star pass rusher is out for at least 9 months, as he's going to have to rehab from the surgical procedure that will repair the torn ACL. He was the centerpiece of the defense, and his loss will obviously have a ripple effect on the entire team. But that's not to say it's time to just shrug your shoulders and give up on the season. While the Packers won't be able to match Parsons' production, there are still things they can do to remain competitive and win football games, both for the rest of the regular season and in the playoffs. So with that in mind, here are 5 things the Packers can do to try to mitigate the loss of Micah Parsons. Number 1, other defensive linemen are going to have to step up and try to generate some pass rush. Obviously, Rashawn Gary goes from the second pass rusher on the roster to the number 1 guy. That's the role he had the last few seasons. He doesn't have the juice that Parsons does, but he has proven to be a capable pass rusher. He gets more pressures than he does sacks, but even pressures at this point could have a big impact. The Packers were also fortunate enough to get Lucas Van Ness back in the lineup against the Broncos. Van Ness has missed a lot of time this year due to injuries, but having him back in the lineup could help get a little pass rush, both off the edge or on the from the interior, if Jeff Hafley decides to line him up there. And then obviously Kingsley Enagbare going to see an increased role as an edge rusher. Now, the Packers do have Colin Oliver and Brenton Cox Jr., both of whom are in their 21-day practice window to be activated onto the 53-man roster. If they're healthy enough to return, you would expect one of them, at least, to be added to the active roster once they place Parsons on IR. Cox has a little more experience. He certainly finished last season strong. Oliver, a 5th-round pick, who has spent the entire year on the PUP list. The second thing that the Packers can do is create more blitz packages. Once the Packers acquired Parsons in a trade right before the start of the season, Jeff Hafley was able to do what he said he wanted to do when he took over as defensive coordinator: rush the quarterback using only the 4 down linemen. Last year, before Parsons arrived, there were more blitz packages, disguised blitz packages, things done to create deception. But now Hafley will probably have to go back to the more frequent blitzes. Those blitzes, very often it was you line up 5 or 6 guys along the defensive line, and then the offense has to guess which 4 or 5 are coming, and then, how to adjust. Now, the Packers are lucky. They have 2 fast linebackers, both of whom can get to the quarterback when called on to blitz. Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker. Walker had 2.5 sacks in each of the last 2 seasons. Cooper had 3.5 last year as a rookie, even though he only played 55% of the team's defensive snaps. Now, up till now in 2025, with Parsons' addition, Cooper and Walker have been blitzing a lot less frequently, but look for them to be utilized in more blitz packages. And you know what? Safeties, slot corners, they could be blitzing more frequently as well. Maybe Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams when he's healthy, Keyshawn Nixon. Maybe we see a little bit more from Nate Hobbs. Going to be interesting to see how Jeff Hafley decides to do things. Number 3, obviously the secondary is going to be impacted by Parsons' loss, and they're going to have to step up. And this one has me a little bit frightened because up until now, with Parsons in there and the Packers pass rush, at least creating a lot of consistent pressure, the cornerbacks and the defensive backs knew they didn't have to cover as long. They could concentrate on defending short passes because most quarterbacks wouldn't have time to stand there in the pocket long enough to throw the ball deep downfield. An example of the impact Parsons had, Keyshawn Nixon, through 14 games this year, has broken up 16 passes. His previous career high, 7. That is part of the impact of Parsons. Now, Jeff Hafley will probably have to disguise his coverages more, protect that cornerback group that lacks an elite cover corner, and Green Bay will probably be a little more susceptible to long passes as a result of the absence of Parsons. Hafley is going to have to adjust his scheme accordingly. Not always easy to do with 3 games left on the regular season schedule. Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and Nate Hobbs will have to change their approach and raise their level of play. Number 4, the defense has to try to create more turnovers. Without Parsons last year, Green Bay was 4th in the NFL with 31 takeaways. Right now, through 14 games, they are 25th in the league and have taken away the ball just 13 times. Now, you would think when the pass rush improves, the result is more interceptions, more strip sacks and fumbles. But for this season, for the Packers so far, the opposite has been the case. If the defense can go on a hot streak and create more turnovers in the final 3 games, and then if they make it into the playoffs, that increases the team's chances of winning. And then 5th, and finally, the Green Bay offense is going to have to be more productive. When the defense is lacking their best player, you're going to have to score more points to win games. So whether they emphasize the run more with Josh Jacobs and try to slow the game down and control the clock, keep the defense off the field, or whether they open it up and let Jordan Love just chuck it downfield more often, Matt LaFleur is going to have to figure out how to get more points from the offense because the margin for error is down now that the defense is most likely going to give up a few more points without Micah Parsons. Look, if the Packers can accomplish most of these goals, let's even say 3 out of 5, they have a good chance of clinching a playoff berth and maybe even winning some games if they get there, especially if Jordan Love and the offense get hot. But look, one moment in one game on Sunday, everything changed for the Green Bay Packers. Now it's up to the coaching staff and the team to adapt and find ways to win without their best defensive player. Visit our website at thepackerspost.com for in-depth articles on the Packers. Here on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Daily Packers Post. I'm Gil Martin. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, and of course, go Pack Go.